Alright, good evening everybody. Welcome to this evening's stream. It is absolutely chuffing hot outside, and inside in fact, so you might hear some fan noises in the background. I'm just checking my phone because I've got some parcels being delivered as well. That's going to be the first bit of news actually for this stream. Let me transition into the game, get some music going, get some chat going, and I'll tell you the news. So, it is hot. It is extremely hot. And because of that, pretty much every electronic device that I own has slowed down considerably. Not least my desktop, which is kind of the hub for all things M4J. It's where I do all my editing, it's where I do all my uploading, it's where I make all my thumbnails. Everything gets done on that computer. And it hasn't overheated for a while. And the reason it hasn't overheated for a while is because I've hardly used it for a little while. And the reason I've not used it is because it's been hot, and I just don't want to run the risk of it overheating. Because it is getting to the point now where that computer is coming up to 6 years old, and parts are starting to wear out. And do I want to go to the expense of repairing a PC that's 6 years old and just run the risk of something else breaking in the not too distant future, or do I want to take the plunge and upgrade by building a whole new PC? I've decided to do the latter and take the plunge and build a whole new PC. So I've got computer parts being delivered left, right and centre at the moment. The descriptions of all my videos will get updated with the newest tech when it's arrived and when it's all set up. So if you want to ask me about it now, you are allowed to do so, but don't be upset if I can't answer the question, because I know next to nothing about computer components. It took me about 5 days of solid research in order to jump onto the bits that I've actually got. So far I've got a processor, RAM, motherboard and power supply, so I'm still waiting on a case, graphics card, operating system, keyboard, mouse, monitor, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure I've missed something out because I always do. So yeah, I will update all the specs. I will include the old desktop still, because I'm planning on using that for a streaming as a streaming rig. So all my streams in future will go from my new desktop through my old desktop onto Twitch. That's how the professionals do it, and apparently it works quite well for them, so I thought I might as well do the same. So I will still have a 6-year-old PC, and it will still run slow as hell, but at least it won't be limiting my production abilities. Plus, my new PC is going to be 4K, which means I'll be able to produce higher quality videos. Not necessarily in 4K, but it means that I can do 1080 videos a lot easier. Plus, with extra RAM and a higher powered processor, it means I can finally get back to series like Planet Coaster and the Guard City project without having to turn my settings all the way down just to get the bloody game to run. So, I've seen some comments from people in the chat already. When I asked about a setting to disable the wealth tax, Lieutenant Joker said, "I do not plan any more code changes in the near future," meaning the patch pack is basically in feature freeze. Yeah, he said that on my stream a few weeks ago, so I kind of knew, because I was asking him about adding in what was the scheduled dispatch. That was it. I asked him about that, and I also asked him about upping the order limit on vehicles. And both answers really were, it's probably doable, but he wasn't interested in doing it, which is absolutely fine. Because let's face it, Lieutenant Joker has done more than enough for the OpenTTD community in creating the patch that I'm currently using. So I wouldn't expect him to have to do anything else. So it's unfortunate that I don't have the ability myself to create the patches that I would like, but I also don't have the time to learn it, so I have a lot of respect for those who do use their time to help the rest of us creators. But yeah, we're going to be doing a few things tonight. The first thing I also wanted to say, I keep saying the first thing, I think we're up to like the 6th thing now, aren't we? But George, I had a look at your design that you submitted on Reddit earlier. I like it. I think it's good. There's a couple of other tweaks that I would still do. For example, the eastern approach that then turns south just after the station. That curve radii in your in-game design was way too sharp. But that can easily be fixed by reclaiming some land from the lake and building the station on the other side of the town that I can't currently remember the name of. But yeah, overall, really good design. Really happy that you took the feedback on board. I hope my little speech last week helped with anyone who wants to design stations, in fact, not just one or two people, but anyone who wants to do it. Like a little insight into how my process, how I go about it. The other thing I did want to say on that note is something I completely forgot to mention last time, but I feel like it is quite important. If you build something on your own network, and you say things like, I've put this through a rigorous testing process and things like that, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's quite smart that you would test a design. It's what all good manufacturers do. However, you have to replicate the operational conditions when you run the test. So if you test it on your network and it works, doesn't necessarily mean it will work on my network unless you test it using the same setup that I have. So, you know, same timetable, same length trains, same type of train, so on and so on. So it's something else to bear in mind when people are designing stations and bridges and junctions and all that kind of thing. If you test it under your own parameters and it works, feel free to test it under other parameters as well, and really stress test it, because that's how you find out whether a design is good or not. Finally, it takes a long time. I hate toing and froing. I hate saying this because I hated it at the time, but I kind of understand where university professors and lecturers and tutors come from now when they give you out a brief and then you submit your assignment and it's in no way what the brief was asking for. I kind of get that now because I've submitted my own briefs now and I'm getting some very weird and wonderful responses to it. So yeah, it makes a little bit more sense. Anyway, if anyone else wants any more tips and things on designing OpenTTD networks, I'm always happy to offer an insight. I'm not saying necessarily my process is the best, but it works for me, so you never know, it might work for you. Those of you who have gone and checked out the episode plan for this week, you all know what we're doing, but I'll read it out anyway. So we're going to be doing 3 main things, most of which are going to be split into sort of subcategories. So the first thing we're going to do is plan out new connections from Denston, Carnegie and Nut Hill City Centre, both to the east and the west. I'll explain that in greater detail in just a second. Rebuild the Great Northern Route between Honingville and Warnbridge Airport. That's so that we can extend the Guard City St George service from Honingville to Warnbridge, as well as start running some semi-fast and express services on that route. And then finally rebuild the Great Western Route between Plindham Junction and Sannington, where it meets up very briefly with the Western Reaches South Line. So let's start off at the top and do Denston, which is where we start our stream tonight. So what I mean by this is Denston Carnegie is a big station. Was it 2 weeks ago we rebuilt it? I think it was. This is going to be our hub for cross-country services. And all of the cross-country services that we currently have that start here, not cross-region but cross-country, will eventually be extended to the south, east, southwest, northeast, northwest, and they won't start their journey at Denston. They will kind of come to the end of the first part of their journey and begin the second part of their journey. So if you think of it like Birmingham New Street, cross-country services start up in Aberdeen and Glasgow and... Glasgow? No, I don't think they do start in Glasgow actually. Edinburgh, Newcastle, places like that in the north, Manchester, Liverpool. And in the south they start at places like Reading, Didcot I think some do, Southampton, Bournemouth. They used to start at Brighton, they don't anymore. Plymouth, Penzance, places like that. And Birmingham is pretty much smack bang in the middle. So every cross-country service, I think including the little local services, so to and from Stansted Airport, I think pretty much every cross-country service runs through Birmingham New Street. And that's what was the inspiration for this. Every cross-country service on this network will run through Denston Carnegie. Cross-region services will start and end their journey at Denston. So we have one from here that goes to Sunnington, we have one from here that goes to Monningpool Falls. We will eventually have one that starts here and goes up to places like Beffing Way and Warnbridge Airport and places like that. And then we'll also have the equivalent running to the south. So this is almost smack bang in the middle of the map, which is why it was chosen. But the current problem is there's only 2 tracks going out to the north and there's only 2 tracks going out to the south, even though these 2 tracks do then split into east and west. So my plan is to shift these lines 1 tile to the east and then build a new pair of tracks to the west and have it connect up with this electrified route here, which will then mean we can reroute one of our cross-country services to run this way, maybe one of the cross-region services, in fact, rather than the cross-country, because I think currently, is it this way it runs? Yeah, and goes up through Drenninghead. So we'll be able to reroute that and have it go through this line instead. On top of that, don't know why my voice decided to break then, but on top of that, we will also, I'm just looking, oh there, yeah, okay, that's fine. I was looking for something that I knew existed, but was already looking at the thing that I knew existed, if that makes sense. But yeah, let me get my head in order, and I'll continue talking. I also want to build a new line from Denston that actually comes to the west this way. We might have to go round this hill. I'm trying to think what we can do. And the reason I want to do that is this line here, which used to be called the Great Central Route, is going to be renamed because that's an awful name. It currently goes to here, here to Runtborough. I want to reroute this probably to the north of these hills, maybe up and over the hill even, through Cunding Hall and through Gundworth, and then join up with this new route to Denston, and then this southern route, this one here, where it turns north here, I'll actually have it continue straight on. Maybe not that bit, maybe here at Radeon Hall, and then build another new line this way and maybe connect it up to this route. That could work, but just come up with some new connections basically. We're not going to build the new lines tonight, but we are going to build the junctions with the existing routes tonight, at least over here. At Nut Hill we might actually build the new routes. They do run from Glasgow, but go via Edinburgh and down the east coast. Ah, okay. I had a feeling they did go from Glasgow, but I knew they didn't run down the West Coast Main Line. Okay, let's get started. So, first things first, we are going to build this new pair of tracks. So we're going to do a little bit of demolition here. Apologies to the good people of Denston. And a little bit of demolition here. So this is going to come out like that. This is going to come down like that. And then you're going to go there and you're going to go there. This is what I like about these little projects, is when it's actually very simple to just extend and expand what you already have. Is there another one? Yeah. So you move there and you go there. Now we can remove that signal, and that signal. Okay, and now we can go you there, you're fine, and then get rid of that signal and get rid of that signal. And then here you can go there and you can go there. Alright, and then we'll go like that and we'll go like that. That's technically phase 1 done now. And I should also say my voice is still going to sound funny and I might still cough from time to time. It's hay fever. What can you do? I thought it might have been a cold at first and it would pass, but it hasn't. So there's only one alternative, and that is it's hay fever. And I haven't had hay fever since I was like 12 years old. So this is new territory for me. Okay, we'll place these waypoints. We might have to rename some of these. I'll have a look, because we might be able to get away with not having to rename these. Yeah, these are Plunningston rather than Denston. I like the fact that there's two towns with stone in their name right next to each other. That's quite nice. Okay, so this route is then going to run pretty much in a straight line. We'll re-divert it to go through this little gap here. You'll go like that, and then you'll join straight up with this line. Done. We shouldn't need to... I think this is 75 miles an hour down here. We will put some waypoints here because this bridge will be a slower speed, maybe like 55 or 45 miles an hour because the junction's either end. But yeah, that's basically connected. That's what I wanted. And the speed limit on this line will be about 75 miles an hour, give or take. So that was nice and easy. And we'll mark that one off as well. We'll need to put a few more waypoints down for the freight bit here, because I think 30 miles an hour is going to be that speed limit there. And I think this has been designed with that in mind. I can't exactly 100% remember. On your new computer, what will be the CPU and how much RAM will it have? So to start with, I'm going to have 32 gig of RAM, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 lots of 16 gig, so I'll have 2 RAM memory cards, I think that's the right expression, 3200 megahertz, and again, apparently it's to do with data transfer speed, the megahertz, because you know megahertz is a unit of frequency. The processor is a 6-core 3.2 gigahertz max boost, 3.4 gigahertz base. I might as well tell you, it's an AMD Ryzen 5 2600 or 2600 6-core 12-thread processor. One of the key things to remember when you're buying a processor is a lot of people assume that a processor with more cores will mean better gameplay, which is simply not true. I mentioned this a lot on the XVI podcast, particularly the first episode of the XVI podcast, because I went into a bit of a rant about FPS and things like that. Most games only use one core of a processor. You can use multiple cores if the developers put in something called multi-threading, which basically means it will use as many cores as is available. However, multi-threading is not an easy tool to use. It's not an easy thing to put into a game. So most developers don't do multi-threading. They simply stick with one game uses, or one application uses one core. So a lot of people buy octo-core processors and spend a lot of money buying octo-core processors. And actually some of the processors I saw were things like 16-core, 12-core, 14-core. There's absolutely no need for it, because unless you're running 16 applications at the same time, you're only ever going to be using like 1 or 2 cores. So even now, I'm streaming on my laptop at the moment. So my game, OpenTTD, is using one of my processor cores, and OBS, which I'm using to stream, is using another of the cores to do all the video encoding and things like that. But I think this laptop has a quad-core processor, so that means there's 2 cores that just aren't doing anything. I mean, in this case, I have got Chrome and stuff running in the background as well, so there might be allocating a little bit of processor usage to that. But besides that, there's absolutely no point in having an octo-core if you're only going to run 2 applications at a time. Some games do have multi-thread though, so that's something to bear in mind. But yeah, a lot of the games just don't have multi-threading. There's my little fact of the day for you. Apparently the final cost of Crossrail has gone up and no one knows the final cost. Yeah, that's kind of been a not very well kept secret for a while now, that the cost is no longer what people said it was. Pretty much since like this time last year, we all knew how high the cost was, or how much it was going to go up by. And now we got Coco the Clown in charge of the country. It's probably going to go up even more. Because I imagine a lot of the stuff that we buy is from outside of the country, and if it comes from another European country, then the price is going to go up. I don't want to get political. I'm just stating some railway facts. The prices are just going to keep going up and up and up and up from now on. And high speed 2. I mean, I read something last week about there was talk that it might still get cancelled, which I think would be a colossal waste of money considering how much work has already gone into it. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but you never know. Like I said, when you've got a circus monkey running the country, anything can happen. Right. Let's move these signals. So this could be a very simple rebuild. I'm not going to go into renaming waypoints or doing speed limits sheets or anything like that tonight. I'm just placing down the track. A bit like what I do on Train Simulator. I just place down the track and then I go away and think about it and then I come back and do the rest. That's not what I wanted to click on at all. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So this junction can now be straightened somewhat. This one here might still end up doing something similar to what it's currently doing. Hang on, I don't know why my voice keeps going up like that. It's really annoying. It might do something like this. Alright, so the plan now is to build this like so, and then build this like so. Do this, do this, do, whoops, this and this, and then do this. So trains can now go from east to west here at 75 miles per hour. So we've market harbored that junction. Your new CPU should run your game about 50 to 80% faster based on single core performance. That's the plan. I'm probably not going to move OpenTTD to the desktop though. I'm probably going to keep it on the laptop until it really starts to struggle. Bearing in mind that this month is probably the hottest it's going to be this year. Next month might get a little bit hot still, but this is kind of my stress test. If my laptop can survive the summer running OpenTTD, then when winter months roll around, it'll, if anything, it will use that as an opportunity to warm itself up. The new Transport Secretary is in favour of High Speed 2 and devolution. He's also a reader of London Reconnections. He's also my local MP. So, fingers crossed, he's not going to have a change of heart on the things that he talked about. Fingers crossed. He's done all right for us, so you never know. Like I said though, I don't want to. It's so easy to fall into a political rabbit hole. But I would like to avoid politics, like, for the rest of my life, to be honest. But I know that's not going to be possible. But at least for my streams, I just want to have a nice, pleasurable, relaxing stream and not have to worry about how bad everything is in the world right now. I think that sounds quite profound when you say it out loud as well. In my fictional world that I've created here, there is no politics. Everything is run in harmony. That's not true. That's just me talking out my backside. But hey, the Guard City project at least will have a half-decent government, I hope. Anyway, sorry, that's me getting political now. I'm breaking my own rule. Right, that's done. So yeah, the new PC is going to be good. The new PC is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I did just get an email when the stream was about to start saying my Windows 10 that I was waiting for was due to be delivered tonight. Apparently it's now not going to be delivered until tomorrow. So I'm not sure what happened in that. But hey, I mean, pretty much everything else of mine is going to get delivered tomorrow that I don't already have. So the case, the graphics card, Windows 10, keyboard and mouse, and monitor should all be arriving tomorrow. And what that means is I'll be able to start producing content again at a decent rate. I'll also be able to stream some of these games again. So things like Planet Coaster, I'll be able to start streaming again. It'll be really exciting. Come on. It's amazing the difference that OBS makes. When I was just playing around on this earlier, it took 5 seconds to save. Now I'm streaming, it's taking a lot longer. The processor I've got in this laptop is an i7 7th gen. I've never really got the hype around Intel processors. I have an AMD processor in my desktop upstairs, and that's a lot faster. I've got I think it's a 16 gig. That's not 16 gig. It's a 6 gig, I believe, graphics card as well. 16 gig, bloody hell. I'll be running NASA missions with that. What is my favourite train and why? Good question. I'm a big fan of the networkers. I think because I'm pretty much the same age as them. So like, I grew up with them. I'll check that. I think it was 94. I don't know, late 80s, early 90s. Maybe some of them were built in 93, 94. But they're very nice trains. They look nice. The fact that when the Channel Tunnel was first conceptualized, networkers were planned to actually operate through the Channel Tunnel. They were a good design. Particularly the 365s and the 465s. Because they were designed, even though they never did, they were designed to be dual voltage. So the 465s could have run on overhead electrification, and the 365s could have run on third rails if necessary. And I think some were converted during their lifetime. And the 165s could just run anywhere, so they're pretty good. But yeah, I'm sad to see them go. I'm hoping that the 365s can find a new life somewhere else. They got their temporary reprieve in Scotland. But that's come to an end now because they fixed the windscreen issues on the 385s. I'm also very tempted to go back to Steam and say the IVET 2MT tanks, the 4MT. It's funny, the Great Western was like my favourite railway because I'm a big fan of Brunel. If you can be a fan of an engineer, you know what I mean. I used to admire Brunel when I was a kid. Still do. He was an absolute genius, ahead of his time. But I've never liked Great Western steam locomotives. I think they look very boring and very samey. However, the panniers and the prairies are quite nice to look at. So I would put them on my list as well. Where do you think the third train per hour on the Hope Valley line? What the heck are you talking about? I don't know what that is. Pendolinos. I've never been a fan of Pendolinos. I can't ride on them. They make me feel sick. Yeah, I've ridden on a Pendolino a few times. And I've never enjoyed it. Euston to Crewe, so what's that, 2-3 hours on a Pendolino, and I felt sick as a dog every time. The only time I haven't felt sick on that journey was when I was on a Voyager, not a Super Voyager, just a Voyager, and I felt fine after that trip. So it's definitely the tilting that does it. Plus, I mean, the Pendolinos used to look nice. They used to look very nice with their old livery. The new neutral livery that they've been painted in, they just look unfinished. They look like they've just rolled out of a factory somewhere for testing. They just look awful. And I don't want to offend anyone by saying that, particularly if the Pendolino is their favourite train, but they just don't look very nice anymore. It goes to show what a difference a livery can make as well. What am I doing? I am snipping this. Oops, not that one. And I am snipping this. And this is going to be our other new connection. I forgot to re-signal. You're going to go there, you're going to go there, you're going to go there, and you're going to go there. What else do I like? There isn't much in modern traction that I like. The new Eurostars I think look like bubbles. Particularly with the raised roof on the top. That's so that people who suffer from claustrophobia don't get nervous during the 20-minute journey through the Channel Tunnel, which I actually think is a very clever addition to the trains. But when you look at them from the outside, it does look a bit weird because the train at the front looks quite nice, and then it goes into that raised bit, and it just looks like someone's like inflated the roof, if that makes sense. It looks a little unusual. So I'm not a huge fan of those. The Thameslink 700s, they look very bulky to me. So again, I'm not a massive fan. I'm a very harsh critic. I've just realised. I'm a very harsh critic when it comes to aesthetics on the railway. But then you do want to ride on a train that looks nice, don't you? You don't want to just ride on something that looks like a box on wheels. What else do I like? It's got to be Steam. It's got to be Steam. But even then, I'm quite picky. Right, I'm just building these new bridges. So this new line, we might plan it out, but we won't build it again tonight because I've still got to leave enough time to go do the rebuilding. Hi Nirasa. HSTs are good. They are very good. Yeah, I know what the Pendolino livery was because of. I still think they could have put some effort into it though. Like even when LNER took over on the East Coast, they took the old Virgin livery and actually turned it into something quite nice with the new LNER livery. The sticker thing that they just stuck over the sides of some of the locos and HSTs did not look great, but the new LNER logo and the livery that comes with it is actually quite nice. So I think Virgin West Coast should have done something a bit similar. They could have just taken the Virgin branding off of the existing rolling stock and just had that as its neutral livery. But then, yeah, it's not my decision. There's a lot of people paid a lot of money to make those calls. Right, I'm building way more of this than I wanted to, but I at least want to plan out this first section. Let's see, we could just build a nice viaduct over this. There we go. Right. But yeah, HSTs are amazing considering what they've done in their life, and the fact that, you know, they've been withdrawn from GWR, they've been withdrawn from well, they're starting to get withdrawn from the East Coast, and they will soon be withdrawn from the Midland as well, and yet there are companies out there that are saying, oh, we'll take those off your hands, and are making them useful again, like ScotRail, for example, with what they're doing with their intercity service. I actually think the next cross-country franchise should have taken the intercity name, because that's really what cross-country is, isn't it? It's intercity. But then what do I know? Again, I'm always going to throw that little disclaimer in there. What do I know? I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos on the internet. What do I know about the rail industry? Yeah, the new trains coming to the UK, the CAF electric units and diesel units for Northern, their cabs look too triangular for my liking. The new trains for Greater Anglia, the Stadlers, they look quite nice. The Adventurers also look too triangular for my liking. I'm hoping the ones that Greater Anglia are getting are going to be a little bit nicer to look at, because the Crossrail ones just look like, they look like Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. Like if there's a character in Thomas the Tank Engine based on Pyramid Head, that would be an adventurer. Yeah, GWR have done the ScotRail thing. They've created short sets, the Castle sets, I believe they're called. Yeah, they run like Exeter to Plymouth and things like that. Cross Country should have the HSTs as a short-term capacity. I think Cross Country should have the HSTs as a long-term solution. They're perfectly good trains. There's nothing wrong with them. The engines were replaced only a few years ago. People have the stigma of the design is 40 years old now, or 40 years old. 1978, I think the first one into service. So the design is 40 years old, so people think, oh, it's old. But the trains themselves, most of the components are less than 5 years old. So why not continue using them? Makes sense. especially for cross country, because that's what they were originally designed for. They were designed for long distance express services. And that's exactly what cross country is. It's the perfect solution, but it's not necessarily the companies don't want them. It's more the public don't want them because of this stigma of they're old. And I think it's a real shame. But yeah, let's plan out a new route, shall we? So we're currently here at Nut Hill City Centre. I also went via the Castlefield corridor on my Isle of Man trip. Oh yeah! How was that? It caused so many problems, they need the additional platforms. Yeah, you asked me about the Hope Valley line. Yeah, where do I think the third train per hour on the Hope Valley line should go? I have absolutely no idea. For a number of reasons. I'm not very good at service planning, as you can tell from watching these videos. I can't remember exactly where the Hope Valley is. I think it's around Sheffield, because I think there's a Hope Valley Sports Centre or something in Sheffield that I've heard of before. Or there might be a steam railway called the Hope Valley. I can't remember off the top of my head. And the other thing is, what are the options of where it should go? I don't know. I don't know what stations there are there. I don't know if there's any junctions or anything like that. So I'm really not the best person to ask that question to. But yeah, Nut Hill City Centre. I think this new line, there's a lot of big cities and big towns over here that don't have any kind of rail service. And this will be, besides Bar City and the line up to Gronwell, this will be, I think, the furthest east we've ever built. So this is we're doing the opposite of what the pioneers of America once did. They headed west, we're heading east. And just as I say that, I stumble across the high-speed line here, and also this line here. What's this line here, actually? Oh, is that the Transrapid? Yeah, that's the Transrapid. Ignore that. I really feel like getting rid of the Transrapid completely, because I don't think we're going to ever be able to use it because of the vehicle order limit. So it makes no sense to have it. And I've already lost. Where's Nut Hill? There it is. I remember when I built this station, I thought, Nut Hill's huge, it's going to have loads of people coming through here. And it kind of is, but Great Trooningville, just to the south, has a bigger population. So does Little Brunway. Actually, no, just about smaller. Then you come over here, look at Platston, 33,000 people. I feel like we need a big station over at Platston. Maybe in the middle of Platston, but it's very hard to build that without bulldozing and being a hypocrite. Cross country is also too small, I think. Liverpool needs to come back for a start. I think cross country should operate within its means until it has a need to expand. I think one of the problems is they overstretched, which is why they haven't got the capacity, because they've run too many services. Because they only run one Voyager on any service. They don't run multiple Voyagers like Virgin do. So if you had like a 10-car train or a 9-car train or an 8-car train instead of the current 5 and 4, you'd be able to run a lot. Well, you'd be able to please a lot more people because you'd be able to carry a lot more people. You're basically doubling your capacity. I'm just going to call this the Nut Hill East route for the time being. What we're going to do essentially is we're going to run straight south like this. And then we're going to go probably up through this gap here. Then we'll turn east. We'll run up through this gap here. So we're essentially bypassing Platston. Although all of these stations, I think there'll be like 2 or 3 stations along this section, they will serve Platston. And then I think the next thing we're going to do is turn north here. And it seems like such a pointless thing to do, but you're then serving the whole of that community by doing that. And then I think I think we actually do want to go north here. So we're doing like a big U-turn. A bit like we have down at Sanley Central. Now we're going to turn east again. And I think we're going to run cross country for a bit. Run through this gap here. Through this gap here. Now, I want to avoid accidentally dissecting the high speed line. I think the easiest way to do that is to run through here. We might have to run up and over the hill a little bit, but it should work out fine. We can then cross under the Transrapid to go to Sarnley. And then Dadham. Which sounds like the first two notes to the Jaws theme. Dunfingley. I think here, yeah, I think we just want to keep heading straight east. This might even end up going right over to the east coast. And I think I'm okay with that. Although this hill's going to be a bit of a nightmare to conquer. I think the best thing to do is just design it to be straight. So from Bintbourne straight down to Fontfield. And then over this way. And then over this way. Now there's a route here, which is the East Coast route. So, if we terminate there and build a big station that connects up with the East Coast route as well, then that'll work out quite nicely. It was pretty and went viral, the railways. I love the MER, particularly the halts. Grudel Glen Railway was beautiful, and the Laxey Mountain Railway. I liked the Grudel Glen when I was a kid. 1998 we went for the, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was the 125th anniversary of the steam railway on the Isle of Man. But it was like an island-wide festival. So the Grudel Glen was running its special timetable effectively. But I always remember the Grudel Glen, even though I was 5 years old at the time. It's one of these things, because I've been watching all the stations and they were on the Isle of Man a couple of weeks ago, and I was watching their videos this week, and I remember some of the places they visited. I remember playing football in the park next to Port Erin Station, for example. It's amazing how much you can remember of things like that. Really obscure, unnecessary details, and yet you remember them. And yet when you have to study for an exam, you forget your own name half the time. There are trains in Australia and Brazil that break the train length limit of 64 tiles, with some going up to 200 to 300 cars. They provide iron ore to ports to be exported. Yeah, the trains in Australia are self-driving as well, so they, particularly the iron ore and I think the coal trains as well, no human being is on board during the journey. They literally drive themselves from start to finish. That is incredible that they can do that. Hope Valley is the line between Manchester and Sheffield. Okay, I was partly right. Serves Liverpool, Norwich and Manchester to Cleethorpes. Oh, serves Liverpool to Norwich and Manchester to Cleethorpes. If West Coast replaced its Voyagers, then they could go to cross country or maybe just use HSTs. I like the Voyagers, actually. I know a lot of people complain about them and want them gone. I think it's, again, because they've not been used properly. I do like them. I think the whole thing, if they can't run along the sea wall, it's such a logical thing when you think about it. They weren't designed for that route. That's why they can't run on that route. It's like if you built a race car and then you tried to drive off-road with it and then you complained because you can't drive it off-road. It's the same thing. You know, you can't build something for one purpose and then try and use it for a different one. You could always try connecting the stations with the town centres with trams. Yes, yeah, that was another plan. A bus network or a tram network. Isle of Man Railway. What, for the anniversary? Yeah, 1998 was the 125th anniversary of the Isle of Man Steam Railway. So that means it opened in 1873. Yeah. I must be right. I heard someone say the interior has not been used well, unlike HSTs. Yeah, because like the Voyagers went from Virgin West Coast or West Coast franchise to cross country, and all they really did was replaced all of like the buffet area and the shop area and things like that. They just ripped all that out and just put seats in because they had to try and get as many people on a train as possible, and it's just unfeasible. You can't really do that. It doesn't work. What they should have done was taken all the Voyagers from Virgin and then ran them in pairs, and then you could still have maybe one pair has, or one unit in a pair has the buffet and the other has the shop. So if you're in the wrong unit for the buffet, for example, you will have to wait until like you get to New Street where there's a 10-minute waiting time, and then walk into the other half of the train. It's one of the complaints with the new in-city trains as well from Hitachi, particularly on Great Western. They run in pairs of 5, or they run a single 9-car unit. But if you run in the pairs of 5, they have to have 2 trolley services because you can't cross from one unit to the other. I feel like that is a design flaw, but at the same time you lose a lot of the streamlining if you put a gangway in. So yeah, you can't win. You can't win either way. Right, this junction has already been done. This route here is currently 3 tracks. You can see I've already started the 4th one. I will extend that into Nut Hill City Centre. I think I said this last week, in fact. I'm waiting for the redesign of Nut Hill before I settle on that. Also, these 2 sidings that we've got here, I might actually keep them for trains that do terminate at Nut Hill from either the east or the west, or even from the north. Just because it's handy to have. Oh wow, have I actually passed that milestone now? 1 second. That's not what I wanted. They've changed the layout on the YouTube Studio app, and I don't like it because it's new. Yeah, 300,628. That is awesome. So now we've got to hit 1,000 subscribers because we need to hit all the milestones in one go, otherwise they lose their magic. What do I keep going to do? I keep going to do something and then I forget what it is. Plan out new connections from Denson, Carnegie and Nut Hill City Centre. I think we've done that now. I think we have done that. So the next thing is rebuild Great Northern Route between Honningville and Warnbridge Airport. So let's go and do that. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to say. I think I forgot to mention this last week, but it's to do with milestones and things like that. This Monday just gone. Those of you who follow me on social media, you already know this. I was going to put it on Reddit as well, but I completely forgot. This Monday just gone, the 22nd of July, was my 6th anniversary as a YouTube content creator. So 2013 was when I first started, and now it's 2019. So yeah, 6 years. It doesn't feel like 6 years. It feels like a lot less than that. But I think that's a good thing. If time goes by fast and you don't really notice, then it means you're doing something right. So, that's one of the reasons why I've bought new equipment as well, is because it's about time that the channel gets a little shake up. 6 years, it's about time. That's what made me remember that my PC was 6 years old as well. It's the fact that, 6 years on YouTube, I've been using the same computer pretty much for the entire time. It was time for an upgrade. But yeah, hitting 300,000 views in the same week that I hit the 6-year milestone. It's a shame, unless an absolute miracle happens now, it's a shame that we won't be able to hit the 1,000 subscribers in the same week. We are 15 short currently, I believe. So it will have to take a hell of a push to get up to the magic 1,000. But that would have been awesome if we'd have hit that target as well. But not to be, unfortunately. Right, let's build these like this. Now we are going to kind of demolish part of the town of Little Prunton here, and I wish there was an alternative way to do this. But to get this track down to a good enough level that I can widen this curve means that some stuff's got to get bulldozed. But I reckon that is enough. So from here, we'll go across one, and then we'll go down again. I was going to do a series of giveaways this week as well, but because it's been so hot, I've just not really felt in the mood to stream, because I was going to do, you know, like last year I put like some of my old videos on Twitch and just ran them as reruns. I was going to do that again, but trying to get all that stuff uploaded and scheduled and hope it doesn't fail, it was a little too much to ask for in this heat, so I decided against it for this year. I mean, it's also 6 years. I did mention that in the tweets and stuff. It's 6 years. It's not a huge milestone. It's a long time, and I'm still like, wow, it's really been 6 years. But it's not like a 5-year or a 10-year where you're really pushing the boat out to celebrate it. Right, as you can see, we are a little bit higher now than we used to be. But with some strategic landscaping here, we'd be able to solve this problem. There we go. Although this isn't actually in line. How do I... Oh, yeah, I know what the problem is. It's because this needs to come out by one more. Which means we are going to have to do a little bit of demolition, and we can then do that. And then we can go down to freight trains. Getting up and down this hill is going to be an absolute nightmare. I can tell you that already. I think we're still going to be coming in too high here, you know. Again, I'm doing way more demolition than I'd actually like. Or maybe not. Actually, maybe not. Because if we go down 2 again, then we're technically only 1 above where we want to be. So if I flatten this, and then we're back on the right line again. So that's this side done. It's going to be a bit of a slog, but we'll make it. This side is actually going to be a lot easier. And again, we're demolishing the town, and, you know, I'm a hypocrite. What can you do? But it does also go down 1 there, just to go into a tunnel. So I think what I'm going to do is that. And make this all on 1 level. And then we'll go down and down. So you're going to go along like that. You're going to go there. You're going to go along like that. You're going to go there. That's good that Nut Hill fits the design now. That's encouraging. I'm trying to build this in again just to see. Yeah, we're going to have to do a lot more demolition. Have to do a lot more demolition. Although we can leave this tunnel in place for the time being. Because what we'll do... Yeah, we're going to have to demolish a lot of industry and a lot of all that stuff. Yeah, just go. Just go. So you're going to go along like that. That's not what I wanted to do at all. That's what I wanted to do. So then we can go along like this, go along like that, and then these are going to be our new tunnels. Like that, and then these go down like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we'll tidy this up a little bit. I think I might make this like a cutting. Like really make it look like we've carved a hole through the hill in order to build this route. Because that can have its attractive qualities. Not always, but some of the time. But yeah, it's good that it fits the design with Nut Hill. It makes life a lot easier to just slot new designs in that way. I also need to rebuild this track here. like so. Right. Now we can do the same thing on this side and really make it look like trees have been cut down and all sorts to make this fit. Does that not fit? Oh, it does. Yeah, it does. That's alright. That works. But yeah, Nut Hill needed to be 4-tracked at both ends. Denston as well, just to increase capacity. It's all about capacity. Right, where's the first signal? There it is. So you're going to do that, you're going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going to go there. Are you going to go there? Oh no, you're not. You're going to go a little bit further back. So you're going to go there and up. This one's going to go there and that way. Does this one not go? Oh, there is there. Just couldn't see it against the hill. So you go there as well, and then along. Right, so this route is pretty much rebuilt. The other thing I might do, shorten this tunnel a little bit more, because we're having trouble putting these waypoints in because of the slopes and everything and the constant curves. I do like the approaches to Warnbridge. They're a little bit annoying, but I don't mind them. This set of junctions here is going to get rebuilt because that is ugly as hell. This side is actually okay. The extra terminus platforms here, these are the ones that the current Honingville service is going to end up using. Maybe use the turnback siding, maybe not, I haven't decided yet. But yeah, let's so 75 miles per hour is the slow line speed, and it's going to come out here, it's going to go 65, 55. I think the current speed limit, isn't it something like 40 or 30 on the slow lines? Coming in and out of the main stations on the Great Northern Route. Let's have a look. Oh, it does go up to 100. So in that case, it might be going up to 100 through this bit. Probably not, but you never know. So the speed through, yeah, it's 40. So if it does go up to 100, then it's got to come back down to 40, which means we need 6 waypoints, and we currently have 3. So we just need 3 more. That's fine. The fast line is going to be a slightly different story. I reckon that would be enough. Because on the fast lines, it goes to 45 if switching tracks. So we got to go from 125 down to 45, which is 8 waypoints. And again, we've currently got 3. So I reckon this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That worked. And again, I'll name all the waypoints. I tend to name the waypoints as I'm doing the speed limit sheets. So we're fine, just waiting with that one. Let's do that, and then here you are number 11. I'm going to guess this one is number 12. Yep. and the next one will be number 13. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's going to have to go there. I'll put one there as well. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm missing some fast line signals here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, it's going to be like that. I don't know why I placed that, actually. It's going to be like there and there. Okay, so this bit is all now done. Rebuilt, functional. Got these 2 stations, which probably gonna get better service. This could probably do with getting redone as well. Making the curve wider. Where does that branch line from Warnbridge to the north go? That was meant to be like a regional metro service. You know, like further along to the east on this route, we have that really weird metro line. It's like 2 metro lines in one that does that weird U shape. That's kind of what this was meant to be. So it's like a little regional metro service. The problem with it was, I liked the idea of it, but there's nowhere for it to go from Warnbridge. Because even if it went to the east here, like, the only way it could go is to link back up with the route again. We could, of course, build new towns and stuff here. We could have it terminate over here at Flinningwell Ridge. But yeah, that's what it was supposed to be for, but it didn't really work. And then there was another question. You know the extension of my franchise from Gronville to Monningpool Falls? Can I propose the timetable my August submission? Was that a thing? I remember talking about maybe having a service from Gronville to Monningpool Falls. I guess it was a thing, because I wouldn't have mentioned it otherwise. Yeah, I still actually, I keep meaning to make those changes, because I need to do the timetable edits that I've already been asked to do. I've not changed the name of it yet either, so I'm going to have to do that. Do I have that on my... Hang on, I need to check my Patreon sheet, which is there. Did I update this? No, so I need to update that as well. I've got your email tagged, so I'll be able to go find it again. It's no problem. But yeah, submit it in August, so next week. And that'll give me a kick up the backside to actually go ahead and do it. Alright, these sidings are going to get cut. These lines here are going to get cut. This bridge here, I think it is used quite a lot, so I'm going to have to be careful about that, because I think this signal as well is, yeah. And this one also is. So what I'm going to do there then is, first of all, these bay platforms are going to go. I'm probably going to keep the 4 to the east still, because they're going to be for Great Northern services that start and end at Honningville. But what that then means is I can cut back these lines, and I can cut back these lines. Also cut back that line like that. I'm going to join that to that, cut that. I'm also going to straighten that, and this can now go straight across, which which means this one won't be needed anymore. Okay. So the plan here is going to be put this signal here now, and you're going to copy from that. Actually, before I do that, do it like this. Like that, and then get rid of that and that. Replace this with a more modern type bridge, and then you're going to go underneath like that, like that. So there is still going to be some slowdown, and these waypoints are going to get moved because they will be used, or they'll be needed, I should say, rather than used. I'm also going to completely remove these signals for the time being, just so we get a nice clean rebuild. So you're going to go to that line, this one's going to go across to this line, this one's going to go across to this line. Like that. And then like that, like that, like that, and like that. So that should keep the core essence of the original station. You can also now rebuild this bridge again. Well, the original junctions. It should keep the raw essence of the original junctions, whilst at the same time upgrading it to the realism initiative. So we can replace that with the tied arch again. There we go. Yeah, if anyone has any plans for what I can do with that line out of Warnbridge, feel free to submit them. I think the truth of the matter is we just don't need it. So I might just get rid of that bit. We'll see. We'll see. So this is going to get turned back into what it currently was, or what it used to be. I'm just trying to think of a way I can do that. We can do it there. Put a viaduct in, and then you can run straight up like that. We'll have to remove this one. We'll also remove that. This will be one of those things, one of those rare instances where trains depart on the right and arrive on the left. Where else do we have that? I'm sure there's somewhere else where that exists. I can't remember off the top of my head. That won't work, will it? Dummy. That will, though. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say. This stream almost didn't happen tonight because I was struggling to come up with ideas. And I do remember saying last week, if anyone has any ideas for future streams and episodes, to leave them down in the comments. And then no one did. So I was struggling to come up with ideas, and I didn't have anything to use for inspiration. So it almost didn't happen. Let's put it that way. It almost didn't happen. But at the last minute yesterday, when the deadline hit, I managed to come up with some ideas. And that's not me saying, by the way, that you guys should do my job for me, because that's not very fair. But do suggest ideas for episodes if you have them. And use the comment section for that as well, because comments are enabled on these streams automatically. And I think once I get my new PC up and running, I think I might enable comments again on the channel, so long as people promise to behave themselves. That was the issue, was just such negativity for no real reason, or people trying to be smart asses and just things like that, and it's not fun. There's nothing fun about that. It's just annoying. But yeah, that's me being negative. So on a positive note, I'm thinking of re-enabling comments on the channel, because I do want people to have their say, so long as they are sensible with it. It's one of the reasons why I have asked people to help me design improvements to the network as well. It's because I want people to have their voices heard. I want people in the future to be able to look back at these videos and say, I designed that, I helped create that. So that's a really nice feeling when you can look back on something and say that. Alright, let's change that to that type of signal. So this bit is pretty much done now. I'm going to save the game quickly, and I'm going to read the chat while I do that, because it's going to be a long time waiting for this to save. Could you not have a new coastal town near the docks and extend the line to the new town? Yeah, out of Warnbridge, I think that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to build new towns. The obstacle, really, the obstacle for that is this bit's fine. Like coming through Warnbridge, we've got the little Warnbridge embankment station, which I built like two and a half years ago now, or however long ago it was. Coming over this bridge, and I think here it has to turn immediately east. Then you've got this big hill, so I think like a massive tunnel under this hill. Maybe even building a town here, and instead of tunneling under the hill, have it kind of loop back on itself, have a station here like Warnbridge North, and then have it run back along this way, along this shelf, a new town here, and then a big tunnel under this hill, another couple of towns along here, and then up to Flinningwell Ridge. Somewhere along here, yeah, here's the big bridge. This curve here is also going to get redone. Sunford Station and Fenningston Station are probably going to be... I think Sunford is going to be taken out of the network completely, and Fenningston I think is going to get moved to the east side, like down here, to join up with the... Oh, that's going to be a tight 90-degree curve then. I'll widen this curve, and then I'll build the new station like here. And then from here it will start climbing up the hill, and then it will curve round. Because I think this turn here is a bit too tight, and I don't like the idea of just extending this out along and then snaking back in, because in real life that's basically a U-bend, and that wouldn't work either. But yeah, this route is going to need a lot of work getting it up to scratch, like here as well. Instead of going there, it needs to come across this way and then up. And this one could go further out that way and then straight north, or, you know, halfway across and then match up with this one. This could probably be one big straight diagonal. So yeah, there's work to be done. There is work to be done. But we can now start running trains up to Warnbridge, or at least we can once I've done the speed limits. So that's good. So we'll mark that off as done. So the final one, rebuild Great Western Route between Plindon Junction and Sannington. This is mainly so that I can start running Great Western services along that section of the line. I need to come right down here. And then down this way. So here's Plindon. So the goal here is to rebuild this section of line. A lot of this is fine. In fact, it's all done. So really, I'm going to change that quickly. Between Sannington and Munfingford. Paragon. But we're not going to be rebuilding Paragon tonight. That might even end up getting done off camera. following the design that's been submitted, unless anyone else wants to submit a design, but I'm probably not going to sit around forever and wait for that, so we might just use the design that's already been submitted, because apparently it's been tested and it works, and I'm inclined to believe that, so why not use it? Or why not at least give it a chance? I think that's, can't say fairer than that. So the fast lines are the western ones. So that's actually okay. That's quite a tight turn there. So that should work out fine. And then out of Plindom, I believe this is all fine. Looks like it is. Should I build a station here at Chanfield? I think I'll just build a bus between Plindom Junction and Chanfield. That should keep them happy. Plindom are very unhappy with me at the moment because we've got a lot of stuff waiting to be transported. A lot of stuff. So yeah, out of Plindom, along this way. This is all fine. And then this turn here, it's a little tight. We might slow down a little bit. But not too much, because then we disrupt the Western Reaches South trains. Into Sannington and out of Sannington. This is where the rebuild is going to have to happen. And Powington is going to suffer a little bit for this. Unless... Okay, what we could do is move this junction way back to like here. So you're going to go... So you're not going to go there. You're going to go there. And then you're going to go there. You're going to go there. Like this. You're then going to go down. You're then going to go up. And then we're going to snip this back. We're going to snip this back. So this new line is going to branch straight off here. Actually, no, it can't, because this line needs to come down first. And then this one goes to there, and then this one goes to there, and this one goes to there. And then that's when they meet up again. Okay, that works out fine. You can go like that, you can go like that. Neither of those lines need to be electrified, so that's A-OK. This section can then get redone like so. I think, was there... Yeah, there was waypoints here. Whoops. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. There was waypoints here, I think because of the potential slowdown to swap tracks to actually go into Sannington Station. So I think we can move these. Your Powington... Actually, let's do the signalling first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you go there, and then you also go there. You get converted to that. And now we can go Powington 4, Powington 3, Powington 2, and what is currently Powington 4 will become Powington 1. There we go. Alrighty. You go there, and then this one goes there, that one goes there. And then on the slow lines, we can do that, and then we can also do That works for me. I'm also inclined to put that there and that there, so that if you have to wait, you wait in the platform rather than up at the junction. Oops. Okay, now go back to this. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to save again because I don't know, it's hot and heat makes me paranoid when it comes to electronics. And I'm going to put my fan on just to cool things down a little bit. So you might hear some whistling wind. In fact, you can hear a lot of whistling wind. I can hear it through my headphones already. So yeah, now the route here is going to just pretty much go in a straight diagonal. So we're also going to remove this, and we're going to do a little bit of snipping here at Powington, just a little bit, and a little bit there as well. Reason being is so that we can get this land here and just drag it across like that, and this should then form, let's see, drag this so that it is level with that bit, and then do the same here, and then do the same here, and then do the same here. Then we can go down twice. That's nice and easy. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I've just messed this up completely. I was expecting the fast lines to be on the inside for some reason. They're not. It's slow, slow. Fast, fast. There we go. Yeah. I did that whole thing where we converted it so that it was slow lines on one side, fast lines on the other, and then for some reason completely forgot. So you will now be a path signal, you will be a path signal. That's that bit done. This side at Babra, I'm actually going to make this quite simple. Babra station is going to move from the east side to the west side. Works for me. I'm going to try and do it without removing some of the buildings that we've got here. I think that's actually going to end up being the case. And this land that we currently have over here, I'm going to leave it because hopefully if we run more services through Babra, then it will start to grow, and this will be the land that it grows into. Although, I think actually when I built this, one of the problems was the station is now technically on the wrong side of the tracks. But, I don't know, we can kind of work around that, can't we? Also, we've got a very modern bridge at a very old station, and I don't like that, so... going to go there. I'm just going to put these two tiles down. Actually, I'm not going to put any tiles down for a second. What am I doing? Because we need to do the signalling first. And this is going to be a bridge. This little tribute tree that we've got here is going to go. That recycling depot, scrap depot, whatever you call it, is also going to go. And then all of this is going to go. All of this little bit here is going to go. All of this little bit here is going to go. So now from here you'll run straight up diagonally to there. And that is that. These are the fast line ones, so they can be 160. There's a lot of very small stations on this section of the line. So to re-signal that, and actually are we back? Can you hear me? I think we're working again. About 2 minutes. Alright, it was basically just me talking rubbish about Babra will grow back into this space, redo the route here, stuff like that. Really boring, mundane stuff that probably didn't actually need to be said. So I don't think anyone missed anything. Yeah, I heard a pop in my ears, which normally means the headset is either working or not working. Like unplugged itself kind of thing. I think that's what happened. So I just swapped the ports. Alright, that's fine. Easy fix. That's the main thing. Easy fix. See, as I said, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. It's just me talking rubbish, as I do. The annoying thing is, because it's OBS that it stopped working on, even the YouTube recording won't have picked it up. So I can't even take that. It's fine. It was 2 minutes. 2 minutes, no voice. We're back. That's all that matters. There's me carefully tailoring all this. I could just actually just bulldoze all this track, lift the land up, and then build a new bridge across. That could work. 1, 2, and then these are the fast lines, so we'll do girders like so, and then you can come across to there, to there, to there, and to there. Re-signal. Okay, that's that bit done. This bit is all okay. We might have to cut into Menbridge a little bit. Wow, you got 2 iron ore mines, have you? Kingston and Menston. Surely this one should be Menbridge. What version of OpenTTD am I using? I am using Joker's Patch version 1.27.1. It's not the easiest to find online. I think if you do just go onto Google and type in OpenTTD Lieutenant Joker Patch, I think there's a link to like a forum post or a media sharing site, which should be the latest version. There's no new versions planned, so if you just download the same version I'm using, it should be the right one. I think actually, is there a link in the description to the patch that I'm using? There may be. I think there used to be. I think I am just going to go straight across like that, which again makes me a bit of a hypocrite, but what can you do? Whoops, don't do that. Just bulldoze the rest of the town by mistake. That'd be good, wouldn't it? So now I should be able to go straight across. I'll be careful here, because if you destroy the central road section of a town, then it basically destroys the entire town. It'll just disappear. So we are cutting considerably into Menbridge here, but I will build some bridges over the track so that the town can grow back. And again, we shall re-signal this. Like that. Alright, there's another 90-degree turn coming up, I'm sure. Or maybe there isn't. Oh, there isn't. Alright, we're done. We're finished. Completed. Oh, this is a mess. I'm really looking forward to it, particularly this section here. This was the bit I was talking about with the submitted design as well, because this bit was left as is. So like the design itself, I suppose, like starts here and finishes somewhere over here, I think it was. So the bits outside of it weren't really part of the design jurisdiction, but that is something that will change. So Runton Station, or at least Runton South, I think this one is. Yeah, I think Runton South might get taken out completely, and we'll have both sets of lines. Actually, no, we can build it, because these lines are going to sort of meet in the middle in the new design. The slow line does still have to cross over the fast line, so we'll have to make room for that. But this whole area here is going to look a lot different once the rebuild is done. But I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. That's for future M4J to sort out. For now, though, we have pretty much done everything. Do I have any Class 43s in my game? Yes, I do. Yeah, if anyone wants to have a go at designing or redesigning parts of the network, the keyword there is have a go. I can't guarantee that it will be what's selected and what's chosen, but anyone's entitled to have a go at designing key parts of the network. Why not? Why not? Because chances are you'll do a better job of it than I have. And who am I to stand in the way of that? Right, we're going to have a bridge here. To answer the question, yes, we have a few HSTs. We actually have some more now. Is that something else that was new for last week or this week? I've added HSTs now running between GSJ. No, that must have been done before last week. I'm sure I remember saying that. Between GSJ and Denston and Nuthill, we now have HSTs running. Plus, on the West Winds line, we have HSTs. And also on the Great Western line, we have HSTs. So we got lots of them. I will show you them in just a second. I'm just building these roads quite randomly, like I do. I could probably go there and down. That one could probably go there and across. That kind of fills the area. Menbridge should grow. I'll extend the station. I might even move the station to this side of the signals to give it space to grow. Yeah, let's have a look at some HSTs, shall we? Because we're pretty much, in terms of what we wanted to do on tonight's stream, I thought it was going to take longer than this. But we're pretty much done. So I can now start running trains between GSP and Munfingford. But I'm not going to do that until Munfingford's actually been rebuilt. Because with Nuthill, I feel like with Nuthill we can just temporarily snip the track to stop the trains from getting into it and rebuild it. But Munfingford, because it's such a massive rebuild, the entire station pretty much is getting ripped out and replaced. Whereas with Nuthill, I feel it's going to be more of a couple of tweaks here and there. Like turning the bay platforms into through platforms and things like that. So that'll be a lot easier to do. But Munfingford, no trains really should be running through Munfingford. What we can do though is have trains running from GSP across to Fort Flonwood Parkway. Or the other thing we could do is that cross-country service. Was there one that was supposed to run through here? If there isn't, there should be. Or a cross-region service. Right, what station have we got? What stations have we... Actually, I wouldn't really make much sense, logistically speaking. Full 8 coach or 4 coach? Bit of both. Bit of both. So up here, this is Plindon Junction. This is the current limit to the Great Western franchise, although that's now of course going to get extended down to Munfingford. Somewhere along here there's one. Here's one of our HST sets. So as you can see, it is a... oh, what was that? I heard a ringing sound in my ear. Is that a new subscriber by any chance? I can't remember what my notification sounds are. I'm just watching the... Ah, yes. Milo Haskane, thank you very much for the follow. Follow? Subscribe. Subscription. I keep thinking I'm on Twitch for some reason. Thank you very much for the subscription. It's greatly appreciated. You are now the 986th subscriber, I believe, or 85th. Nuthill is likely to feature all through platforms and remodeling of the approaches. Yeah, but a lot of that can kind of be done with trains running through it still. A bit like what happened with Derby last year and this year, where they kind of rebuilt the station while the trains are still using some of it, not all of it. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is an 8-car HST, 10 if you include the power units. And I think we have 2 HST services using the Great Western route, and they both use 8-car sets. But I need to scroll quickly here. This is GSP, which is the eastern extreme of the Great Western route, and then over here on the other side of Guard Lake is the western extreme of the Great Eastern route, and we have 3 HST services on the Great Eastern route. My laptop is temporarily frozen. Hopefully you can still hear me. These are 6-car HSTs. We still got sound? Yeah, we still got sound. I'm going to stop moving my laptop around now, just so that we don't accidentally unplug the headset again. Yeah, these are 6-car HSTs. They do still have first class though, as you can see. And they run between GSJ, which is Guard City St John, Denson Carnegie, which is where we started tonight's stream, and Nuthill City Centre, where we spent the middle part of tonight's stream. The West Winds line, which goes from GSG... Come on, game. It doesn't like Guard City. My laptop does not like Guard City. This is GSG. It stretches literally from here right the way over to here. These are the high-speed platforms, these 6, and then we've got the Great Northern and Guard City Great Northern fast line platforms. Then we've got the West Winds fast line platforms, and then we've got through platforms for both Great Northern and West Winds, and also the DC lines, which are these ones here, and then these are the Guard City Overground platforms, and then the HLR platforms. And then we will have HSTs. We used to have HSTs coming out on this set of lines here. The 2 fast lines are the 2 centre lines here, and they run all the way up to Sunnington, which is up in the northwest corner of the map. They're also 8-car HSTs. Although I'm thinking, because the time period for this network is sort of late 80s, early 90s, even though some of the stock used is from the 50s still. But what I am thinking is we use Class 91s on this route and go full electric. But I'm not 100% sure yet. Or we use loco-hauled carriage sets. Something different. Because I know we've got loco-hauled on the east and the west lines, but actually having something a little bit different on the West Winds line, maybe even just having normal speed EMUs going in and out, because it's not that fast a line. Like there's not really any. I think 115 miles an hour is the highest speed, and there's not many areas where it actually gets up to that speed. Plus, Drunnington and Tenfing Bridge, which is just up here, is also the western and northern hub of our Guard City Connect services. So, yeah, might have to do that. I need to do that still, actually. I need to put those services in, because we've planned them, I've just not done them yet. I think it's because I haven't done the speed limits of the southern lines. Oh, that curve needs changing. Might do that now. Might do that now. Might as well. Got nothing else to do. So yeah, now is a good time to put forward ideas for next week's stream. What do you guys want to see me do next week? Do you want to see me build something? Do you want to see me rebuild something? Do you want to see me change something? I'm trying to avoid like buying trains on stream because it takes forever to do all the timetabling, and like a 2-hour stream, for example, we planned out the Guard City Connect services, but if I was to actually buy the trains now and try and get the service up and running, a 2-hour stream, in all honesty, would not be long enough to actually get it done. And I wouldn't expect anyone to sit there for 2 hours watching me just go, this one goes 30 miles an hour, then it goes up to 40. Because I've done videos like that in the past, and I've watched them back afterwards and just thought, this is really boring. So I don't want to do that. So anything that doesn't involve new trains, maybe changing and tweaking existing services we can do, building new lines, planning new lines, rebuilding stations. What we could do, I suppose, next week, if enough designs are submitted, is rebuild the stations that need to be rebuilt. Yeah, saying rebuild is all well and good, but rebuild what? As I said, if it's the stations, I need the designs done, and it's taken a week to get one design, so it's probably going to take another week to get the next design. So there's only 2 stations there that I can rebuild, and if the designs are good, which Mumfingford one is, I could do that in like half an hour maybe. So we need something to fill the other hour and a half. We could just do a short stream. We could do like an hour and a half stream, and make that a video, because it doesn't always have to be 2 hours. I know last week's was like closer to 3 hours. The one before that was almost 4 hours, I think. Alright, that looks a bit better. Something else I'm going to do quickly. And again, I'll say, if you don't get the suggestion in before the stream ends, fear not. If you wait like 45 minutes after the stream ends, the video, or the stream, gets turned into a video and gets uploaded to the channel that way. So you can comment below the video with your ideas for next week's stream. Likewise, if you missed the stream for whatever reason and you're watching this back as a video, feel free to comment below still with your suggestions, because I need ideas for this series. Because there's a lot of stuff that I do off camera, and a lot of stuff gets done, but on camera I'm starting to struggle with what do we do now. Do we just keep building new routes and then I do all the admin stuff off camera, or do you want to see some of the admin stuff? Because if enough people want it, I'll do it, but a lot of the time it's not the most exciting thing in the world to watch. I would like to do some streams a bit like the old Fallout 76 streams I did end of last year, where I don't really do much talking, I just play the game. I'd like to do some streams like that in this series as well. So for those who are working or writing or just want to sit down and relax, you don't have to sit and listen to me droning on and on and on. You can just watch some gameplay. So yeah, I'll let you guys have a couple more minutes to put in the chat what kind of things you want to see next week, and then we'll start wrapping up. I think we have some planes fly from here, yeah. So yeah, this is going to be the new terminus. I think the next thing on the to-do list, because all the services that I did temporarily stop and start again, they've all pretty much been done, except for the West Winds line. And the reason that's not been done yet is because I need to move all the trains from Honningville, up here, down to Dronnington and Tenfing Bridge, to start that service up again. Plus, I'm also going to build a new Honningville Train Care Depot. Is going to be the new site for the Great Northern, like train storage. Not the Guard City Great Northern, but the Great Northern. And I think I'm going to build a new facility. Maybe I'll repurpose this one again at Plint Bridge and use that for the electric services, and then for the HSTs. Actually, would it be possible to convert the high-speed depot and do like they've done in London with North Pole, and just repurpose it for intercity trains? Mumfingford, Paragon, and maybe build a few new routes, which I love to watch. build a line east to west across the north end of the map. So we can build the line that we planned from Nut Hill. We can build that next week, don't mind that. And rebuild Munfingford. We'll probably rebuild Munfingford first, because I think that would be quicker. Mind you, I think that's going to be the thing. There'll be no commentary, or there'll be a little bit of commentary for me at the start saying what we're going to be doing, but once I'm actually building, I always hate that bit when I'm building, because I know you guys just don't necessarily want to sit in silence and watch me build. You want to sort of hear what I'm thinking and the kind of things that are going through my head, but at the same time, I really struggle to talk and build at the same time. So next week might be more of a calm, quiet stream where I'm just building. I'll answer questions if people ask them, but beyond that, I'll probably just be focusing on building. That sounds quite nice, actually. Right, what I'm doing here is building a new facility for train storage. This will be for all the electric services out of GSG, and then the HST services will probably get their own facilities somewhere else. I don't know where yet. So we can build this across, and we can build this across like that, and then we can build this across, and then something like this. Not a big fan of this. This might get rebuilt. This might get rebuilt at some point in the future, but for now it'll do. It'll do. And yeah, this will be the new facility for electric services. So I'll have to go and move all those as well. But hey, if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid. So we'll bear that in mind. And then for the HST services, what we could do is, like I said, repurpose the old high-speed depot, which is here, and somehow connect it up to these lines over here. It doesn't have to be this big, for example, so we can find a new way to do that. I don't know, I mean, I like the idea, but I'm just trying to find a way to make it work, which is harder than it sounds, believe me. And then yeah, over this side we're going to need some depots. I think I'm going to do that, and then you're going to connect to that, you're going to connect to that, and then you're going to go there. I think the longest train on this route is 5 tiles, but I'm going to make these depots 6 tiles just in case. Like so. I'm also going to make sure none of these are... Nope, good. And then probably this one here is going to be the one-way only. Entry direction is from the front, then allow. Alright, and then that will go across, that will go down. So yeah, this is only 5 tiles, so we might cut into the water here a little bit to make it 6, but we'll only do that when we actually have to. For now, I'm just going to build it like this. Let's remove remove that, and then we'll go like that, and just put a random one there as well. And this is going to be gunway, motive, power, depot. Is that going to be big enough? I mean, it should be. We do then have the small issue of how do we get trains across. If I do that, and if I do that, we can get trains across, so that should be fine. This will also be not just GSG trains, but also Bartholomew Square trains will go from here. What about naming this HST depot after ZTH? Oh, the now closed and demolished Old Oak Common HST depot. We can do an homage. I'm not going to call it Old Oak Common. We can call it like Plintbridge Common. That could work. So like this depot, the problem we have is the crossovers here aren't really the same as on the north side. So if we're going to build it here, we kind of have to link it up on this northern side, which means building it in this space here rather than this space here. But I really want to reuse this bit here. So the other option is these freight only lines here, if we re-divert them to actually travel up here instead, that could work. I actually like that idea. I do like that idea. We will then still have to build extra crossovers. I mean, I could do that now. You could literally go like that, and it's done. And you can also go like that, and then that bit's done as well. So I could do that, and then I can do that, and then this one can come down like this, and then if we cut this back and we cut this back, we'll put that one in again, and we'll probably have to electrify that because I feel like we're going to have electric freight trains running down here one day. That could work. And then if we... So this isn't going to be linked up anymore. So we'll snip that. And then we'll cut all this back. Yeah, there's one thing I like about this series is the way we have reused former parts of the network. And I feel like this is a good example of that. I like the idea. Because then we can use this depot as well as for Great Northern HSTs. We can also use it for West Wind HSTs if we do go down that route. Or, actually we probably will have to electrify this, because we could then use it for the Class 91s. And then it feels a bit more like Bounds Green. But we won't call it Bounds Green. I like the idea of Plintbridge Common as a name. Now, if I build this straight diagonal, good, we do fit under the bridge. So yeah, we're going to draw these across like this. And we're going to ignore all that. All this is going to get demolished. I think we are going to stick with the idea of having the actual depots this side of the fake depot. So we'll do it like that, and then we'll cut this back so that it's only 6 tiles, 7 tiles. How long's that? 6. I feel like we need one more line actually. Like this. And then, oh, this is when I wish the game had an eyedropper tool. That'd be really handy. I think it was fixtures. We just did that. Also, I'm going to make like half of this sidings. Come on. Like this. And then the other half will be shelters. Okay, and then we'll snip all of this back. So the idea then is going to be to get that over to there, which it doesn't quite do, but it does go to there. And again, I'm okay with that. You can come down to like there, and then this one will come down to like here. And then if you go straight across, you go straight across. You can then join up with that one. This one will join up with that one. This one will go in like this. This one will go in like that. A bit like that. I think I'll also have this one be able to go straight across, and then I'll have that one be able to go straight across, that one be able to go straight across, that one be able to go straight across, and then I'll also have a join there and a junction there. And then you'll be one way, you'll be one way, but this central one will be two way. That works. That does work. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Also make that one go across like so. And then I know I've just de-electrified all this, but if we're going to use class 91s as well, plus, you know, pendolinos and stuff in the future, it might make sense to actually go ahead and re-electrify all this and not do the metro by mistake. So you can do that, and then here those two need to be extended, and then if we scroll down a little bit, those two can be extended. Alright, I think we're going to have two depots coming out of this. So we'll do that, and we'll do that. This will be the site of one depot. This bridge needs to go. And then we'll do a little bit of demolition here as well, because you're going to go in like this. This one's going to go straight up like that, and then this will be the site of the second set of depots. We'll have two depots. Two depots for each one, because we're going to, depending on how many services we actually end up having running out of all of this, it might make more sense to do it like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we might as well make it so that these cross over at the same time. Just not do it. Whoops, there. Let's do it there. And then you can go straight across to that one, you can go straight across to that one. Now I feel like I need another set of crossovers, like one there. No, we won't do that. We won't do that. Too much, too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That kind of makes sense. Put that one there. Middle line doesn't look properly connected at new junction. You could well be right. Do you mean here? It's connected there, but it could well be coming across like that, especially if it's going to be accessing this line. Good spot. Unless you meant this one. It should be connected at both ends. Normally I find out when I'm testing these services that there is something amiss. Guess we'll find out the hard way on that one. And then this is going to be Plint Bridge Common Depot. There we go. Right, I think that will do it though for tonight's stream. There's not a lot left that needs doing tonight. So it sounds like the idea for next week is going to be rebuild Munfingford and then build that new line from Nut Hill. That new line from Nut Hill probably isn't going to get used for a considerable amount of time still. It will probably end up being a cross-country route. It might end up being like an East Trains route. Something else, I mentioned it when I did my design for Fort Flonwood Parkway. I talked about a new franchise called Western Rail, I think it was called. And I was looking on the network a couple of days ago as to where Western Rail would actually run. And the Great Western extension from Gronville to Monningpool Falls was one of the things I was trying to weigh up. Would it make more sense to have that as a Great Western service, or would it make more sense to have that as a Western Rail service? And then I was trying to think, if Western Rail became a thing, where would its hub of operations be? It doesn't necessarily need one, but most franchises do have like a hub. And I think the hub for it would be, if the game actually lets me do it, it'll either be Woolworth or it'll be Fort Flonwood Central or Parkway. And the reason I say that is currently we have Honley Market up here. Come on. It's going to take too long to load. But just up to the north here, there's a station called Honley Market. Honley Market West, I think it might be. It's 3 platforms, one of which is a bay. So that could be like the northern extreme of Western Rail. Monningpool Falls, the bay platforms here we could use. Gronville will be a key point here, because some trains will go down this way towards Munfingford. Some trains will go this way through Woolworth, either to Great Rinston Airport, or they will use the junctions and the new lines that we built here to go towards Fort Flonwood. And then when they get to Fort Flonwood, which is all the way down this way... Come on. Come on. Come on. It's so slow. Maybe I will switch to my new PC when it's all built. Yeah, when it gets to Fort Flonwood, it will probably continue, one service at least will continue this way to Fort Flonwood Parkway, and then it might even continue either this way and connect up with the Western Reaches, run through Sannington and up to Plindham Junction, or it will continue running south this way and head towards Buntbourne Parkway. I haven't decided yet, but we'll plan it out. No, Guard City South Western was out of GSMA. And that did run between Guard City, Buntbourne, Cadingbury and Fort Flonwood. That's a different franchise. And there was also, was it Guard City Connects with an X, that ran from Guard City St Mark down towards Denston and all those stations. There's a few franchises, particularly out of Guard City. There's like 20 now, I think we've got. Yeah, Western Rail is different. Because the other thing Western Rail will do is it will run between Monningpool Falls and maybe not Monningpool Falls actually, maybe between Sunnington and Plindham Junction to start with, because that's currently a Western Reaches service. That might get transferred to Western Rail. And then this bit here, Preybourne, from Preybourne down to here, Peddingbury, where the Great Western route joins up again, although I think I might move that down here to Flunpool instead. But between Preybourne and Portfield, here, this isn't part of the Western Reaches anymore. It used to be, but it's not anymore. So this could become like the Western or the West Coast route. And even between Preybourne and Sunnington, and between Portfield, actually no, between Portfield and Sanley is the Western Reaches south. But between Portfield and Sunnington, that could become the West Coast line. And then Western Rail could take over some of the stopping services on that. So there's plenty of flexibility. Yeah, send me an email with a link to that PowerPoint. If it's on Google Sheets? No, Google Slides. If it's on Google Slides, send me a link so I can view it. I'm very interested in seeing what that looks like. But yeah, I am going to end the stream here now. So let's go have a nice look at Fort Flonwood Parkway, because it's been a couple of weeks since we came over here. There's a lot less trees than when we built it, but it still looks quite nice. There's 2 services that run through here now, and hopefully by the end of the next couple of weeks there'll be up to maybe 8 services that run through here. We shall see. But yeah, thank you very much everyone for watching. Thank you to George, to James, to Narasa, to Frank, and to Tom for chatting and taking part. It's always nice when people take part. Always nice. Google Slides, yeah. Alright, send me a link to that and I'll check it out. I probably won't leave feedback because, you know, it's not really something you can leave feedback on. But yeah, I'm very interested in taking a look. If anyone else has made records of the series so far as well, feel free to send them over because I'm always interested in having a look. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming in and watching. Thanks everyone for coming in and chatting. If you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, which always hits a big fat subscribe button. We are very, very close to 1,000 subs now, so let's hit that milestone. And keep that milestone as well, so I can get my monetization back and also be recognized as a channel again by YouTube. It's always nice when that happens. Also hit the like button if you haven't done so already, and share the video and the stream with as many people as you can to try and get the sub count and everything like that up. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for continued support. Also be sure to click the bell notification button whether you've subbed yet or not, so that you never miss an upload and you never miss the start of a stream. Thank you once again everyone for watching, and until next time, I will see you soon.